2 years at Fort Campbell, nobody pays attention to Staff Sergeant Bryony Concord. Radio operator, quiet, invisible. Until this morning, when General Eggelston hears her say, Tango 7 actual, stand by. Those words, that tone, that rhythm. Only Shadow 4 operatives talk like that. And Shadow 4 was completely eliminated in Syria 5 years ago. Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 0600 hours. The communications center buzzes with morning traffic coordination. 28-year-old Staff Sergeant Bryony Concord sits at Station 4, headset on, managing radio frequencies with mechanical precision. For 24 months, she's been furniture. The communications girl, quiet, efficient, forgettable. Other personnel walk past her station without acknowledgement. She processes hundreds of transmissions daily, coordinates vehicle movements, relays weather updates, manages supply requests. Charlie 27, traffic holding eastbound on Route Bravo. Bryony speaks into her microphone. Her voice is steady, professional, unremarkable. Just another day managing routine-based communications. Sergeant Mills approaches her station. Concord, when you're done playing radio DJ, could you actually do some real work? He laughs at his own joke. Others join in. The communications girl doesn't respond, never has. She simply continues her transmissions. Bryony has learned that silence cuts deeper than protest. Her hands rest calmly on the radio controls, though trained observers might notice the slight calluses on her fingertips, not from typing, but from rappelling ropes. Not that anyone at Fort Campbell would recognize such details. The morning progresses routinely. Vehicle convoys checking in, aviation units requesting clearance, medical transports confirming routes, standard traffic for a major Army installation. Nothing unusual, nothing to suggest that someone in this room carries secrets classified beyond most Pentagon clearance levels. Lieutenant Carter stops by Bryony's station. Make sure you log those supply convoy times accurately. We can't have communications errors. He speaks to her like she's incompetent. 2 years of perfect performance records mean nothing to officers who see her as support staff. Bryony nods silently. She understands protocols these junior officers never learned, knows radio procedures they've never heard of, has operated communications equipment in conditions they couldn't imagine, but explaining would compromise everything. Her routine never changes. First shift at 0600 hours, last transmission logged at 1800 hours. 12 hours of invisible service, 12 hours of being overlooked, underestimated, dismissed. What Fort Campbell doesn't know is that Bryony Concord has been hiding in plain sight, not from shame, not from failure, but from necessity. Some truths are too classified to tell. This Tuesday morning brings an unscheduled inspection. Lieutenant General Patricia Eggelston, 3 stars gleaming on her shoulders, walks through the communications center with purpose. 30 years of military service have given her eyes that notice details others miss. General Eggelston stops near Bryony's station, observing the morning operations. She's not here for routine inspection. She's investigating communication inconsistencies reported from classified operations. Someone has been using unauthorized protocols. Bryony continues her transmissions, unaware of the general's proximity. Echo 4-1, confirm your Papa Lima November, she says, coordinating the logistics convoy. Her voice carries professional authority, despite her unassuming appearance. Then it happens. An emergency transmission crackles through. Base comm, priority medical evacuation required. Grid 77904 Alpha. High-stress situation. Multiple casualties. Immediate response needed. Bryony's training kicks in. Instantly, without hesitation, she responds, Tango 7 actual, stand by for emergency protocol, shadow frequency active, casualty evacuation approved, route designation Alpha Bravo confirmed. Those words, that tone, that rhythm. Only Shadow 4 operatives talk like that.
General Eggelston freezes. Her coffee mug slips from her hand, crashing to the floor. Those specific phrases, Tango 7 actual, shadow frequency, the precise modulation pattern, belong to communication protocols used by units that don't officially exist. The general's eyes lock onto Bryony. For the first time in 24 months, someone at Fort Campbell is really seeing Staff Sergeant Bryony Concord. Shadow 4, General Eggelston whispers, more to herself than anyone else. She knows that designation. She personally classified those protocols after Operation Silent Thunder went dark 5 years ago. Bryony realizes her mistake immediately. The emergency response triggered muscle memory. 5 years of careful disguise shattered by 15 seconds of instinctive reaction. The communication center continues functioning around them, but everything has changed. General Eggelston approaches Bryony's station slowly, deliberately. "Sergeant, I need to speak with you, now."
Conference Room B, classified briefing area. General Eggelston closes the door and activates the white noise generator. What follows cannot be overheard. "Shadow 4, the general says simply. Bryony's composure cracks slightly. After 2 years of perfect operational security, those 2 words pierce through her carefully constructed identity. "Ma'am, I don't understand," Bryony responds. But her military bearing has subtly shifted. The hunched shoulders are gone, the deferential posture replaced by alert readiness. General Eggelston opens a classified folder. Staff Sergeant Bryony Elizabeth Concord, age 28. According to your file, you're a communication specialist with standard training. No special operations experience. No classified assignments. She pauses, studying Bryony's reaction. But that's not your real file, is it? The silence stretches between them. Years of operational discipline warring against the relief of finally being recognized. General Eggelston continues. 5 years ago, I commanded the task force that developed Operation Silent Thunder. Shadow Unit, 12 operatives, deep penetration communication specialists. Mission, infiltrate enemy networks, gather intelligence, establish covert communication lines in hostile territory. Bryony remains silent, but her eyes never leave the general's face. Syria, 2019. Radio contact lost. Satellite imagery showed the safe house compromised. Enemy forces overran the position. We declared all 12 operatives killed in action, classified the entire operation, buried every record. General Eggelston leans forward. But someone survived. Someone continued the mission. Someone has been monitoring enemy communications from inside a Kentucky Army base for 2 years. Finally, Bryony speaks. The network was never dismantled, ma'am. Same arms dealers, same financial transfers, same operational patterns. They thought they eliminated the threat, but they only eliminated the visible threat. Her voice carries new authority now. This isn't the quiet communications girl anymore. I've been tracking weapons shipments, monitoring encrypted communications, building intelligence profiles. The arms trafficking network that killed my team is still operating. They're supplying insurgents in 3 different theaters. General Eggelston processes this information. You've been conducting unauthorized intelligence operations. I've been finishing my mission, Bryony corrects. Shadow 4 doesn't abandon objectives, even when Shadow 4 is presumed dead. General Eggelston examines the classified folders in front of her. Your cover identity. How long have you been planning this? Since the evacuation. I knew someone sold us out. Pentagon-level access. I needed to stay dead while I identified the source. Fort Campbell provided perfect cover. Nobody investigates communications personnel. General Eggelston stands, walking to the secure communication terminal. I'm going to ask you something, and I need absolute honesty. Do you know who compromised your operation? Bryony's jaw tightens. Yes, ma'am. I've had confirmation for 8 months. The evidence is documented and verified. Who? Someone wearing stars, ma'am. Someone with access to Operation Silent Thunder planning files. Someone who knew our safe house coordinates. The room goes dead silent. General Eggelston turns back to Bryony. You've been investigating your own command structure. My mission was intelligence gathering. I gather intelligence wherever it leads. For 5 minutes, neither speaks. The weight of implications settles between them. Finally, General Eggelston makes her decision. Shadow 4, you're officially recalled to active status. We're going to finish this operation properly. Bryony stands, her full military bearing now visible. Ma'am, request permission to complete the mission. Permission granted. But this time, you won't be working alone. As they leave the briefing room, other personnel notice something different about the quiet communications girl. Her stride has changed. Her presence commands attention. The invisible operator has stepped back into the light. That afternoon, Fort Campbell's communication logs show an unusual entry. Shadow 4 operational. Mission parameters classified. Authorization: 3-star General Patricia Eggelston. Sometimes the most important battles are fought by people nobody notices. Sometimes the greatest heroes hide behind the most ordinary assignments. And sometimes, when the moment demands it, shadows step into the light to finish what they started. For Staff Sergeant Bryony Concord, the time for hiding is over.